bringing you the latest from Utah State University's Uintah Basin Regional Campus. This is Aggie Update. Now, here's your host, Bob Peterson.
Thanks for joining us today on Aggie Update. Before we bring in our guest, let's go over a few announcements, especially for you Aggies out there. Hey, graduation is not too far away, students, and I know a lot of times that kind of sneaks up on us. Make sure you're in touch with your advisors and get your application for graduation filled out. Okay, it's December, January, but April's graduation time. Start working on that now, and so you won't find yourself at the very last moment trying to seek out help from your advisors. So there's some important signatures. And of course, you want to make sure your classes have been dealt with as you get ready to sign up for spring classes. You may need a few classes before you graduate. Also, students and community at large, you know, we have a new degree offering. It's called the Associate of Applied Science degree. And we're doing that in harmony with the UBATC, the Technology College in both Roosevelt and Vernal. And what this means is they have programs in IT support and development as well as in petroleum technology. Both these 900-hour programs, upon completion, some credit can be transferred over to Utah State University and then work toward an official USU degree, an AAS degree, in that particular field. So it kind of gives you the best of both worlds, both the technology college training as well as university experience. So for more information, either get a hold of folks at UBATC or us at USU. Leslie Jessup and Peggy Holland, our advisors, can give you more information on that, especially if you're already in the programs at UBATC and want a little sneak preview of the university experience. This might be the degree program for you. Our last announcement deals with those of you who are interested in the nursing field. You know, that's one of our more popular choices for our students and our more popular classes of the nursing classes. For those of you who are interested in beginning the LPN program, that's a UBATC offering, and applications are taken there for the LPN, and it's a smooth adjustment into USU for the RN program, which is becoming ever more popular. And just encourage you to work with our advisors in Roosevelt or Vernal for more information on the nursing program. That's it for Aggie announcements. Joining me this week is Guy Collett, owner and administrator of our Beehive Homes right here locally in Vernal, Mazer, and Naples. Also a member of our advisory board and an alum of USU right here in the Uintah Basin. Guy, it's great to have you on set.
It's great to be here.
You know, the Collett family is like a staple in the Uintah Basin, and I know everybody knows you, Guy, and especially those that are dear and true to you in the Beehive Homes. What a great facility you offer for our elderly people.
Well, thank you.
Commend you for that. We go back about 10 or 12 years since I moved back to town, and you've got a very interesting history. And I'd like to, as it pertains to your education and how you got to where you're at today, and it certainly brings in USU, Guy, and so I'd like you to maybe start back to your Dutch John days, if you will.
Sure.
And it's only a 5-minute segment, but let's start hearing about your introduction.
You bet, you bet. I was born here in Vernal and the youngest of 7. But I was raised in the big city of Dutch John with a population of 80. And Flaming Gorge Elementary was class size of 2 and 3 going up into 5th grade. And then over to Manila, there was 10 of us there. And so, yes, a small fish in a big pond.
You played basketball, football?
Played basketball. There's no football programs there.
Okay.
But so as a high schooler, my sister talked my parents into letting me go to Spanish Fork to have a little larger school to do choir and basketball and that in, and so my self-confidence began to grow a little bit more as I was growing up. But I ran around with some kids that decided they wanted to go to USU up in Logan, and so after I graduated from Spanish Fork High, I spent 2 semesters there, and I wasn't very disciplined as a 18-year-old, and wasn't very motivated. I had a great time, but the last letter I received from USU when I was 18 years old was an academic probation letter that said, if you want to continue to come back, you have to get better than the 2.0. And so from there I served a mission and returned off my mission, went back to Flaming Gorge and got married, and going to college wasn't really that important to me, because the family business was going to take care of me for the rest of my life. Well, in 1999, my family decided to sell Flaming Gorge Lodge. And I was agreeing to that. And so we moved back down to Vernal, and I became a freshman at USU Uintah Basin at the age of 35.
At the age of 35.
Yeah. And so, you know, I remember the day I met with John Barton, and we talked about what degrees were available here. And so I became a Family Human Development major and a history minor. And my end goal was to become a licensed clinical therapist, to go get a master's in social work and open up a marriage and family therapy clinic here in town. Well, plans always don't come to fruition, but through that experience of going to USU, and I went 3 solid years of going to summers, non-stop. Yeah, and I had a very supportive wife and children, and the staff at USU were just incredible. Well, the first letter I got from USU campus after coming back was a letter congratulating me because I made the Dean's List. And I had A's and A's minuses the rest of the time. I was motivated, I was disciplined, I had the support of family and that around me, and it was just a wonderful experience. And this week actually marks my 10th anniversary of taking those finals for my last of my senior year in graduation.
You know, off camera, Guy was mentioning to me about the letter of the scare letter of being on probation, and I thought, you really want to say that on the air? But follow it up with the Dean's letter. Yeah, obviously that's a
and I received
story.
a letter every semester that I was on the Dean's List from there on out.
In the closing minute of this segment, just recap a little bit about what you remember about your USU experience and some of the classes you had, and that helped form your opinions on what you wanted to eventually go into.
Sure. David Law, who's now still on staff, was very influential in helping me to really gain a love for the seniors of our area. There were also some adjunct teachers that I took some gerontology classes that really sparked my interest in Alzheimer's and dementia and understanding that, and also abuse and neglect of the seniors. And so I was much more prepared to own the Beehive homes and to be the administrator because of my degree. But I was motivated, and I had a focus, and I had a reason to learn. And so my education, I would never encourage kids to not go at age 18 or 19 or 20 years old. But my education that I got here, because of the class size and because of the attention that I got from the instructors, were just incredible. I mean, and so my experience, my education, I think was 10 times better because of this small campus and because of me being able to focus.
I didn't know the experience with David Law, and that's really unique, and that's not uncommon to hear of the significance that faculty members play in students' lives as they decide what they're wanting to go into. That's a cool story. When we come back, we're going to visit more with Guy Collett and his experiences at USU and his experiences being on our advisory board. We'll be right back.
USU has given me the opportunity to go back to school. I'm a non-traditional student.
It's just so convenient to have USU Uintah Basin right here in the Vernal area.
Since I started my education here and I'm a teacher at Vernal Middle School, it's helped me jump a couple lanes over and get a higher salary.
How America is struggling right now, if somebody doesn't have a degree, it's going to be harder and harder for you to make it.
But also the training you get from going to school for life is huge.
Welcome back to Aggie Update. We're here with Guy Collett. This session we're going to talk to him as an advisory board member of USU, and besides a business owner here locally in the Uintah Basin. Guy, you know, talking about your experiences at USU and how it helped you in your career path. I didn't know that connection with David Law, and I thought that's pretty neat because he teaches in the area, and you seem like you're well fit for those programs that you run right now. I think you do an awesome job. There are other facets of education that sometimes we forget that becomes helpful to us later in our lives. And offset again, you mentioned some of the skill set that you developed at USU that helped you in your business development. Let's talk about those for a moment.
You have to remember that I was a boy from a small town, and I didn't have a lot of confidence in dealing with professionals. And so, yes, I had gotten the degree, but more so I received the confidence that I needed to be able to go to attorneys and to go to CPAs, to go to lenders to get the money to build the Beehive home. I didn't have my family supporting me anymore. It was just me and my wife. But because I had dealt with folks like David Law and Bob Mueller and John Barton and all these professionals, these people that have their doctorate degrees and master's degrees, I had that confidence to be able to go and meet with them. And then I had to go meet with county officials and city officials, because I bought the Beehive home that was closed down. I had to buy it from the bank, and then I had to get it relicensed and all of these things. And so, I had good experience in family business, but there was a lot more that USU gave me to be able to go on my own.
No doubt nervous, but yet you had that skill set developed in presentations at school, in the rapport you had with those professionals that helped you deal with local community.
I had to create reports and pro formas and my business plans and all of these things and present it to these people who, you sure you want to open this back? It went under. Why would you want to do that? Well, it was an awesome experience. It's been 8 years now since I've had the Beehive homes. And from then we took a closed building with no employees and no residents, filled 12 beds within 6 months. 3 years later, built a second Beehive home in Vernal City, and had to go to Vernal City and apply for all those and start over again. We filled those 16 beds within 6 months. And now our latest venture was to go to the Naples City and acquire that property there. We've been open for a year. We have 15 residents now, and at the Naples home I have 38 employees. We have 40 grandmas and grandpas that we take care of, and this ride couldn't have been possible without USU being that springboard, the beginning of just a wonderful, wonderful experience.
That's a fascinating story, and I think you're right. I think you've hit on a subject. I think many students have had that same experience, and maybe it hasn't been to bring up 3 thriving businesses all of a sudden, but they go on to succeed in whatever field they're going into, and take that skill set that the university experience has helped them, or really any post-secondary, any education you're going into is going to help you succeed in your future field. Now your role as an advisory board member, I know the enthusiasm you have to be, most people don't volunteer, not that you did, you were called upon, and it comes from the president of the university, but you're a perfect fit for the advisory board because you've, if you don't mind the expression, been there, done that.
Yeah.
And what a great help you are as other members of the advisory board to advise us on what to do for you, to local students like yourself.
Well, it is an awesome opportunity for me to work with USU again, and to help those that would be in my situation, 35, 40 years old, and to go to those non-traditional students and have them, transition into a life that they've dreamed about for years, but just didn't think it was possible. And so, yes, I serve on the committee that deals with the alumni, and I volunteered for that committee assignment because I want to reach out to the alumni and to try to encourage them to encourage their friends to go back to school. And so, yes, I did kind of raise my hand when Dean Edwards asked me, and I've been very enthusiastic about helping because USU has changed my life, and so I want to give back. And that's the way Vernal is, and the Uintah Basin is.
Really
Roosevelt. The more you give back, the more the community gives to you.
It really is.
And so I feel, very motivated to give back because my wife and I are very, very pleased of the position that we're in because of this community and what it's done for us.
10 years ago, it's been your 10-year anniversary since your last final.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah, 10 years.
And I just became acquainted with you not long around that time. So.
Yep, and it's been fantastic, and we just love living in the Uintah Basin and love the community, and USU is a huge part of it.
Well, our congratulations to you on the success you've received, and our many thanks, Guy, and I think as well as all the other advisory board members under the leadership of Brad LeBaron and Roosevelt for the great job that you do and the great help you are to USU administration in running the affairs of the university here. It truly is helped, inspired, and ran by local support, and that's the advisory board, so thank you.
You bet.
That's it for Aggie Update. For more information on USU, contact our website at uintahbasin.usu.edu, and next time you see Guy Collett, say you saw him on Aggie Update. We'll see you next time.
My name is Guy Collett, and I'm proud to be an Aggie.